Hello everybody, so this is the first of a two-part series that you're going to get over the next couple of weeks. This video is a video that's going to demonstrate how you can research universities of best fit in detail. And the next part is going to be about you researching general destinations, different countries, and things that you need to be aware of. Okay, so let's get into the agenda. So we're going to talk about priorities, what you want from the university experience initially. And then we're going to go on to how you're going to find that information, how you're going to research. There are obviously going to be more than one way to do it, but we're going to show you a fantastic resource, which you already are familiar with, that is going to set you up to be able to find information initially. And then we're going to go on to our events and universities. Remember, it's the student's university of best fit. So that means you as the student. You need to think about what's best for you, not what other people are doing or applying to, not necessarily the big brand names if they are not the right fit for you, okay? So that's not your starting point. Find the Ivy Leagues or find only the Oxford, Cambridge, Russell Group universities. The idea is that you want to research something that works and fits for you as a learner, and that's why we've been doing this self-reflection process. So what is the idea of fit? It means that it's an institution or a career or some other pathway to get into a career that meets both your academic, your emotional, your geographical, social, and financial needs. So there are all of these factors at play that it's really important to consider when you think, what is the best university for me? So it's really important that you think about what are your priorities, what's important to you. So that's why we're going to spend a little bit of time now thinking about priorities, which is also a task in Maia for you.
Okay, so I'm just going to talk to you a little bit about the next task that you can get on with between meeting 1 and meeting 2. So it's great, we've had loads of students book in for meeting 1, and as part of that, just a reminder, you're working on things like your self-reflection document, so what are your strengths, what are your interests, things like that. And then the second part is the extracurricular activity list. So what clubs, activities are you involved in? Is there any gaps? Have you been doing stuff? Or is there stuff that you would like to add more into your profile before you come to the application season? So the next part is thinking about, okay, I've looked at me, but the meeting I'll have next with college counsellors is like, what am I looking for in a university experience? Before I look at a name, before I look at a location necessarily, I want to figure out what's important to me when it comes to choosing a university and choosing my base for the next 4 years. So we've talked about this in another introductory video, but the next step is basically to come up with a list of priorities. So priorities are basically the criteria that you are going to create for yourselves by which you're going to judge different university options. So do they meet the things that are important to you? So here are some ideas of things that we've gone through in another video, but it could be stuff like location and accessibility. So maybe I'm looking to go to the US, but my family is still in the UK. It's really important for me to be close to an airport, so I don't want to go in too much of a rural location. I actually like being in a city. I really enjoy being in London. I want a similar experience. Another thing could be course. So am I really certain on what I want to study and I want to make sure I can do as much of that while studying for my degree? Or do I like doing little bits and pieces in different areas? So for example, a liberal arts style education would better suit you. So looking at these different bits and pieces, we would like you to come up with a list of about 4 actually that are most important to you. So 4 things by which you can judge any university that you're looking at, and do they meet with what the things I said that I'd really like to get out of my university experience. This list isn't set in concrete. You know, give yourself space to change and evolve over the next year or so, but at least it gives you a good starting point by which to kind of judge your different options. The other thing I think is really important, along with thinking about your priorities, is always to go back to like, why do I have these options? So, okay, it meets, for example, the location, it's in a city, it's studying engineering, it's meeting all the different things that I think are important, but why am I applying there? Okay, and that's really important to keep in mind as you go through your different choices. So to help you do this and prepare for the next meeting, there is a task that's already uploaded to Maia. So if you log into Maia Learning, go to your dashboard, you will see a priority task that is ready for you to view. In that, you will be able to download the priority task as a PDF, and it will give you a couple of things to look at. So if I'm applying to the US, there is a really good platform called Coursera that allows you to shift through your priorities in a bit more detail, because it is a little bit more complex for the US because there are so many colleges to choose from and so many different types of experiences within that. If you're applying to a non-US college, then we'd like you to follow the task about picking your top 4 priorities. After you've done that, you can go to your journal, which you'll see on the screen here. On the panel on your left-hand side of your screen in Maia, there is a portfolio. If you click onto that, there is an option to go onto your journal, and we just want you to make a note with that. So you should have things like your reflection on your different quizzes that you've done, and then the next part is what are my priorities that I want to talk about with my college counsellor.
So once you know what your priorities are and what you're going to be looking for in universities, you can start working on developing a list then. Okay, a list of universities that might actually tie in with those priorities. That's the goal. So that way you're linking what's important to you to what there is available out there in the world. So how do you do that? First of all, you go into Maia Learning, you'll find the Universities tab, and then that will give you the chance to start searching what there is available in various countries. You're searching by country. So let's have a look at how you would find and search for universities within the platform.
Maia Learning has data on over 18,000 colleges around the world. Countries vary in what data is available, but the search process is similar. Here's how to search. In your main menu, click Universities to see University Search. You can filter to narrow your choices, and the restrictions will show in the filter row. You set and save a default country here. You can enter any of 145 countries. Just click the button and start typing. Select the country, in this case, the UK. You see how many institutions are there. We can search for a university or filter the list by campus description, cost, programs, and more. Different countries offer different search criteria. If I choose the subject of medicine and dentistry, area of medicine and dentistry, and program of medicine, I see 38 universities. I can save the search parameters here. Later, I can use the saved search, edit its name, delete it, or change the parameters and update it with Save. Click a university name to see information about it. In the Programs tab, I can select a course of study, then click a program to see a description, requirements, and more. Clicking Universities takes us back and preserves the list. Select United States colleges to see more options. Let's say you want to study in the Mid-Atlantic states. Now choose a type of school. We'll pick a 4-year private nonprofit college. That narrows the field a bit. Let's say we're interested in the life sciences. Under programs and majors, we type biology and select biological sciences and also biochemistry. That narrows it more. Clicking a university reveals a wealth of data on the campus community. Admissions, essay topics, costs, and more. The Admissions tab holds a scattergram of previous applicants' results for your school. You'll see the head of admissions, along with any admissions contact defined for your school, further down the page. Counselor Notes holds information your school's counselors have added about this college. Clicking the heart adds the college to your considering list. Counselors can add universities to your list, and they may allow families to also add universities. Don't confine your plans to just big-name colleges. There's a wide world of post-secondary education opportunities waiting for you in Maia Learning, many with much less competition and lower costs. Explore.
So the idea of using the Considering tab is the fact that you're actually making a long list of possible universities that you're interested in. Please remember, this list is going to be reduced later on. So we start with a long list, and then in time, when you start considering your priorities against this list, when you start looking at your academics against this list, you'll be able to start reducing that long list into a short list. Start with a long list, make it shorter over time, the more you learn about each university and the programs that they deliver. So, what you're doing is refreshing yourself on your priorities. Consider these priorities when you're selecting favourites. Develop that long list of universities in which you're interested in. Then, categorising your universities into those that you are academically in line with is really key. So we call that a target university. Looking at what you may achieve is important, but also what you actually are achieving is also key. So if you're working at a series in the IBs of 555s at your higher level, for example, then you need to be finding universities with entry requirements or that are in the UK that are aligned with those 555s. Yes, we know that you may be getting better in time, or you may be a glitch where you're kind of improving or learning the new ropes of the course, etc. But do make sure that that is represented in the list of universities that you are putting into your long list. You're going to need those that are reached, slightly harder to get into, to give you space to grow into those if you are improving in your grades as you're going along. But make sure that there are a lot in that target where you actually already are as well. And also, just in case you don't quite get the results that you want, or you find that the course is progressively getting harder to get the 555 or 666 or whatever it may be, make sure that you are putting some safety into that list as well. So it comes back to what we've talked about with balance, but remembering to think about balance in your list now when you're actually selecting universities. So often we find that students that don't consider putting in a balanced list into their research process, they often find that they may be scrambling at the end, and it may sometimes take them by surprise that they don't quite have the grades that they thought they might have, and they can't get offers from some of those places. So it's really, really important to really consider balance as you're going along, so you don't have a problem for later on. At the moment, I can't stress this enough. We know that over time, throughout the 2 years, that your grades may be fluctuating. They may be increasing as you get used to the demands of a new academically rigorous course like the IB or the AP, or sometimes there may be slight dips. Sometimes you feel that you're not quite achieving the grades that you feel that you have the potential to achieve, and we understand that. So how are we actually going to develop that considering list? How do we use the platform to make that long list? Let's have a look.
When you click the heart in Maia Learning to add a college to your considering list, that's the start of an important planning process. Go to Universities Considering. There's a box for each college in grid or list view. The person who added each is indicated. You will also see required recommendations. You can filter the list in various ways. Compare All shows how your GPA and test scores compare to students from your school who previously were accepted to that college. Green scores are higher than average, and red are below. Black means there's no score available. Click to specify your first, second, and third choices. You can have multiples of each. The speech bubble icon holds a note for that college. You can add your thoughts, and counselors can add theirs. So each note holds a conversation. Families also see these conversations. Select the application type, term, and plan, and double-check those deadlines.
So Maia is a fantastic resource for you to be able to research and find information about all of these different universities. But this is not the only resource. So sometimes you may feel, hey, maybe I want to find some further information so I can really find the specific information on a particular priority I have. For example, it might be your student satisfaction that you can't quite find in Maia Learning, for example. Well, there are a range of other and additional resources that you can find, and we've mentioned these before in a previous video, but I just want to refresh you on the fact that there is a wealth of resources out there, and some of those that we have used with students before include and are not limited to these following platforms. I have already come across some of you using, before you've been shown how to use Maia, have actually started to create your own list within your own Excel sheet, which is fantastic. That's great. Some of you find that this organizes you better. Well, just really an aside, in addition to using the considering list in Maia, some of you may wish to use one of the resources that we have in Schoology called the Tracker. So you'll find that under the grade level resources, under the resources tab, okay? And this is what it looks like. It allows you to put in your priorities as well as what you find out in Maia and other resources. But again, look at this left side. Again, remembering to put things in terms of reach, match, and safety.
Yeah, and then let's also look at upcoming events and some of the events that are going to be taking place over the next couple of months as we move deeper and deeper into our college counseling and university research. We just started our one-to-one meetings right now, I think earlier this week. So we really encourage students to start getting to meet with their college counselors, discuss what they are looking at in terms of universities, in terms of different destinations, as well as we'll be providing you and showing you some of the resources that are available at ACS that you can use for your research. We are doing this video right now about how to research for universities of best fit, and we also do another one on January 28th about applying to different countries. We will also be hosting course selection clinics starting next week. You can drop into our office during lunch, during advisory, and during break on Monday to Fridays. Those will be really important. I know for grade 11 IB students, you've already have your classes set, but there may be some of you that want to discuss maybe dropping down from an HL to an SL. AP students may be thinking about, okay, what kind of APs you're going to take next year, as well as high school graduation diploma courses and high school graduation diploma students. Please come into our office. As mentioned earlier, be doing a webinar on standardized testing and the landscape of testing in the US, in the UK. There's been quite some changes that have come up. We will also talk about athletics, particularly looking at collegiate athletics in the US. We'll do an introduction to service academies. Both of these will be at a later date in March. We'll also be beginning our English writing workshops and classes, where we'll be coming into the different classes and talking to students about how they can get started on their university application essays, their UCAS personal statements, and so on. Again, these are discussions that you can have with your college counselor at an individual level, but we will also be providing more class time through your English classes to just give you that extra support as we go along. And then on the 24th of April, we will be taking a couple of students to Farnborough for the UCAS exhibition. Please sign up for that when the email comes through. We really encourage students to go through these events, as it is a great opportunity to learn more about the universities, to ask some specific questions and really get an understanding of what the different universities are looking for, what things are looking like, and really get your questions answered by those who represent the universities. We will also have another really big fair here at ACS on the 29th of April, where we are expecting more than 100 universities, majority of them international, from the US and across different countries in Europe, Canada, and the Far East. So there will be quite a lot of opportunities. One of the great opportunities about most of our international universities is that the majority of the representatives that come to talk to students here on campus are the same people that read applications. So this is a great opportunity to ask very specific questions and even make an impression for yourself if there is a particular university that you're highly interested in. All right, as we go into April and May, we'll start working on our essay drafts and getting our feedback from college counselors. We'll continue with our advisory sessions as we prepare for grade 12 and as we plan for the summer break. And of course, open days will open up sometime in May for those students that are interested in learning more about what it's like to study a particular subject within a UK university. We really encourage students to get these experiences as they do a great job in informing you how to make your decisions, as well as just giving you a taste of what you could be looking forward to doing and understanding where you are going as you take your next steps beyond ACS.
So this leads us on to what we're about to do today. So you've just had a quick presentation on how to research. Now it's up to you to do the research. So 2 tasks for you to choose from. These are also ongoing tasks as you work through this early part of the new year. First of all, work on your Maia considering list. Spend time in the platform, search for universities in the regions in which you're interested in, and then start to favourite a few and delve into the information in some of those universities. That's one task, considering list. The other task, start working on your priorities list. This is especially a good task for you if you've already started your considering list. Think about those priorities that Dr. Hollins was talking about and start to highlight them and write about them as Maia learning assignments are asking you to do. All right? Hopefully that's really clear. Let's get on with one of those 2 tasks now until the end of this advisory session. Students working on these tasks for this session. Thanks a lot, folks, and I will see you virtually on a video next week.